back, my friends, to the InObscuria podcast, a podcast where we exhume obscure rock and punk and metal, and we put them in one of three categories: the lost, the forgotten, or the should-have-beens. My name is Kevin Williams, and I am joined, the man across the desk from me, Mr. Robert Harrison.
What's up? Oh, my God.
And what is up?
You know, it's one of those days where I just want to pop open a cold adult beverage like we just did and just talk about music for about an hour and a half or so.
I thought you were about to go Limp Bizkit on me and say, break some shit.
You want a cookie? No. That could have gone wrong. No, Ronnie James D.O.G. is just on my last nerve today. He's not in here right now. He's wandering around outside.
He left the building. He knows better.
He left the building. This is my dog, Ronnie James D.O.G. Started off the day by killing a rabbit right in front of me, and it wasn't just a rabbit; it was a baby rabbit.
Oh no!
Yeah, I was like, "Do not kill that!" Oh, before I could even say no, he had just like
snapped it up. Did
the off the top rope. He was on this little retaining wall and just came in from straight above this baby and just killed it. I was just like, "You son of a bitch!" So I got to go clean it up and go to get a shovel, come back, and it's not all there in like 30 seconds. It's I'm like, come on!
I mean, he's a dog. That's what dogs do.
But I feed you, table scraps and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And
but it put out the vibe it wanted to chase, and he chased it.
He's a killer, man. I swear, he's up to, I think this is 12 things he's killed.
Natural born killer.
So then, somebody left the door open. We had some people over here working, and he goes wandering around the neighborhood, and guess where he goes again?
Publix.
Publix
is our grocery chain.
So right across the train tracks from the firehouse is a Publix, and I walk over there, get groceries and things, and he sees me walk over there. He can see me out the front window, and he knows where I'm going. So about last November, I get a phone call while I'm in Publix, and it's the pet finding service that somebody has called the number on his collar and said, "Oh, your dog has been found in Publix." And I'm like, "I'm in Publix." So he was walking around inside the grocery store looking for me.
Is that what he was doing today?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I wasn't over there, but then another time a few months ago, I was walking into the front door and I heard jingle, 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 and I turned and here he was running up to me like, "Hey, I found you. I
want to go to the supermarket too."
Yeah, you didn't tell me you're going this time. So then he got out a few weeks ago and the manager found him. I had him out front, and lo and behold, somebody that knows me sees the dog, calls me, "Hey, man, your dog's at Publix." I'm like, cool. We run over there and grab him. So today, again, he's out. I mean, he's only gone for about a half an hour. So I was out driving around looking for him. I knew he was close by. And same thing, phone ring. Somebody that knows me, knows him. "Hey, just saw your dog at Publix." The manager has him. So this time I gave the manager my name and number, and he's real friendly. He's like, "No, he's a real nice dog, man. I like hanging out here with him." He had him on a leash up front.
Was he trying to go in the store again?
Yeah. So the doors are automatic. Right. So all you got to do is just stand out front and the doors magically open.
Which is what he did before.
Yeah.
Right?
And so he knows what's in there now, and I'm screwed.
Chicken.
Yeah, and so I can't train him to bring something back because he'll eat it before he gets home. But yeah, so then to top that off, my day. When you buy really good sliced cheese, it comes with a little paper things between it so it doesn't stick together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Deli cheese.
I ate half of one of those today on a sandwich right before you came over.
How was that?
It was not good at all. I was like,
did you get it down?
Well, I didn't know what it was. I'm like, this meat's kind of tough, but it's it tastes good.
You did swallow it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got the half that I figured out about halfway through this stupid sandwich. The reason the meat was tough was because I was eating paper. Well, oh my God, who does that? What a dumbass I am.
Wow, you actually ate it.
Yeah, I'm going to frame it for just to remind me when I get to feeling like, oh, you know what, I'm something else. Yeah, all these ladies, oh no, I'm a dumbass.
Oh, you're something else already.
Yeah, I'm something else. So yeah, this is my day now.
So you need to take a picture, obviously, of your stool when this thing happens, because this is going to be amazing.
No. There's no documenting that. It's organic. It was paper. If it was like aluminum foil or something, I'd be worried about making it through the airport.
Wow.
Screener. So yeah, that's my day. So what's up for your day? What's up?
Well, you see me. I keep raising my hand,
and I keep calling on you. Like, Go ahead. You have a question.
So I'm in here. It looks like I'm testifying. I keep raising my hand.
Good Lord. Satellite link up to Jesus.
Yeah. So a couple of weeks ago, I think I mentioned, I went to the lake with my family over July 4th weekend. We rented a little cabin in the mountains. We're at the lake, and we rented a boat. And the first thing they tell you when you rent a boat is where the anchor is. The anchor is right here. And remember, you have to tie it off. It's not tied to anything. Yep, got it. Cool.
Oh, boy.
And I was cool with that. So we go swimming, we go ride around, and then the kids want to swim and want to jump off the back of the boat for a while. We cut the engine off. I get the anchor out. I tie it off. I do what I'm supposed to, and I just toss it over the side, right? That's what you do.
Yeah.
It's no art to it, right?
Yeah, you just
drop
fling
it in.
You just fling it.
That's what I did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was it tied around your leg?
No. It went down, I guess, I'm guessing around 20 feet or so, and hit the bottom, and I gave it a little extra before I tied it off, and then kids swim. And
half hitch, over under, what kind of knot? Tell me
probably
about the
a
knot.
square knot
Square
is the best
knot?
I can do.
Okay.
Yeah. That's about it. Yeah, so then it's time to go. What do you pull the anchor up? That's what you do. Now, this anchor was giving me a pretty hard time, but I'm like, I'm a strong man.
Yes, you are.
I have no problem with this.
Work out occasionally.
Work out a little bit, so I'm pulling it, and it's really hard, man. I'm like, oh, this is giving me a good workout, man. This thing's really on the bottom, and I'm like, oh, I bet I have a tree limb or
it's a lake,
stump.
so you got a stump.
And so I'm pulling, like, oh, great, I'm going to get a stump up. So I'm pulling this thing up and pulling it up, and it's really getting heavy. And I'm like, what the hell? And I get out of the water, just out of the water. There it is. It's a big stump
Log.
But it's not just a log. It is a log that has another anchor type of cord around it.
It's not its first victim.
So the rope is all around this thing. The rope is caught on my anchor, not the log. So I'm like, great, I got a log and a rope. And it's like really heavy. It's all I can do to hold it.
Yeah.
I don't want to hit the side of the boat. This is a rental.
Yeah.
I am not going to put this thing on the side of the boat
Insurance
and do any
only
damage
cover
to
certain
this thing.
things.
I figure like, well, if I have to let the anchor go, I could pay for that. But I don't want to do that either. No, I'm a manly man. I can take care of this.
Because you got witnesses. If you didn't have witnesses, you'd be
all
like,
women.
screw
I'm
it.
there with all women.
Yep, that was the problem right
my
there.
wife and two of my sister-in-laws and my children.
Oh, you had the two sister-in-laws? Oh, my God.
So I'm pulling it up, and they're like,
was a
what's
boat
going
full
on?
of
I was like, this is
judgment.
really hard. And I keep pulling, and by the time I get this log all the way out of the water, it's pretty long. Not only is the rope around the log, but somebody had made their own version of an anchor by using a rock that is bigger than my head and tying rope all around it. And that's what they threw over, and that's what got caught on the log that I got caught on. And so the rope is caught all around the anchor. And so the only way, about 15 minutes of holding this rope, trying not to touch the boat, and my sister-in-law, Heidi, like figuring everything she can to like get the rope off of our anchor so that we can just get it loose. Meanwhile, I'm holding this thing, which is really heavy, for like 15 minutes, and we get it done, right? She's like, I'll jump in the water and get it off. I'm like, no, you won't. That rock might take you down. You may get it around your leg. No way. I'm just going to hold it. You just...
I've seen this in movies.
Exactly. I know how this movie ends. Yeah. And it's not good. And so finally we get it off. I get the anchor in, and then I'm like, oh no. Because years ago, I had a pinched nerve in my left arm, and it is back with a freaking vengeance.
Yeah.
And so the last time I had it, the doctors basically told me there's not much we can do for you. It's a pinched nerve. You just kind of have to wait it out. And that was really painful for me, and it took probably a month before that went away.
Yeah.
And this one I thought, well, it doesn't feel quite as bad as that, but we'll see. And here it is 2 weeks later, and I'm in pain, man. So I got a doctor's visit tomorrow, and I'm going to the chiropractor next week, so we shall see. I have a numb hand. My hand is completely
Careful
numb.
with the chiropractor. That's what aggravated mine. So make sure you know what it is before you go to the chiropractor. Because when I ripped my shoulder on the KISS cruise, I went to the chiropractor and it made it worse.
Well, this chiropractor has been recommended from a doctor.
Well, I know, but make sure they're correcting the right thing.
Right.
Everybody misdiagnosed mine as like a rotator cuff injury, and that was not it. So just be careful.
Yeah. So needless to say, we will not let any sort of injury keep us from
we're going to plow
Nashville.
through it.
We will be at Nashville. And what is that we're talking about?
This August will rock as Rockin' Pod returns to Nashville. This annual convention brings together rock artists, fans, and podcasters for an unforgettable rock experience. Meet Billy Sheehan, Ron Keel, Ricky Rachtman, Mark Goodman, Matt Pinfield, Don Jameson of That Metal Show, drum legends Carmine Appice and Vinny Appice, along with current and former members of Winger, LA Guns, Accept, Roxy Blue, and more. Panels, signing sessions, and vinyl and memorabilia vendors, all available to you at Rockin' Pod. Music podcasters from all over North America will be appearing on site for live interviews, networking, and speaking sessions. Got a music podcast? Register and join us. Rockin' Pod Weekend kicks off with a pre-party concert featuring former Tesla guitarist Tommy Skio and his new band Resist and Bite. Plus, Ron Keel Acoustic, Rock United, and a rare hair set featuring many surprise guests. Rockin' Pod Weekend, August 6th through the 8th in Nashville, Tennessee. Tickets, VIP, podcaster registration, and discounted hotel rooms are available now at rockandpod.com. Rockin' Pod, brought to you by DBG Productions, Brad Lee Entertainment, and Incaptia.
Yeah. All right. Well, nothing's going to keep us from Rockin' Pod.
Nope.
We will be there. Sit down with us, and we'll talk to you. And apparently, we have some interviews that we're not prepared for. So
Not at all. We're going to wing it.
We're just going to talk to people.
Just wing it.
We'll just wing it. But I tell you what, I got something from our sponsor this week, Robert. I haven't told you about this.
No.
Yeah, so I think we've mentioned it on previous podcasts, but we are sponsored at this event, and
Honored to be a sponsor.
We are very honored. Lucifer himself has reached out to us and has sponsored us, and so I got this message. I got an email, and it basically just said, "The time is short."
You have to read it like the devil. The time is short.
Oh my God, that was really good.
Sorry, that's the dinner I had. It's that paper I ate.
Speaking of, here is our new promo from our sponsor. Check it out.
Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil sends the beast with wrath, because he knows the time is short. Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is
Underwood Deviled Ham.
My mom makes great sandwiches. This one's deviled ham.
My mom always gives me meat sandwiches to keep me going. Like deviled ham.
It's all good ham and a pinch of spices. For good meat and good flavor, try the whole ham spread.
I love your mother's meat.
Yeah.
It's delicious on crackers.
So come talk to us and have a little deviled ham.
The devil's ham.
From our, how in the hell do you do that? That's awesome. Yeah. So come talk to us. We will give you some deviled ham if you play our little game. We have a little game we're going to play with people. You're not just going to get this ham for free, people.
Oh, no. You got to work for it.
You got to talk to us.
You can dance for it, or you can play the game.
Play the game.
Either one.
Mm-hmm. And if you've listened to this podcast long enough, you may have an idea of what game that's going to be, but I'm not going to give it away. This is for Rockin' Potters only. Potted meat coming your way.
Podded.
At the Rockin' Pod. All right. So let's get into this week's subject, and it's going to be a little bit different. Just a little bit different. Oh, before we do that, I almost forgot. After you eat your potted meat, Underwood Deviled Ham. Do it again. Do it in your voice.
Underwood Deviled Ham.
Go listen to Pot of Thunder, Cobras and Fire, Growing Up, Slamfest Podcast, Decibel Geek, Metal Up Your Podcast, The Hustle, Dummy Room, Podcast Rock City, History Science Theater, State of Amorica, Rock Strikes 10, Potter Than Hell, The Podkiss, The Kiss Room, I Love It Loudcast, Ages of Rock, The Synaptic Empire, and don't forget about Monty's Rockcast. Come visit us at InObscuria.com, like us, share us, recommend us, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, leave us a review, and buy some shit. There you go.
Has some nice scarves.
We do. Some scraps. Okay, so for the subject this week, it's just a little bit different. I've already mentioned that I was in the lake a few weeks ago. I was in the Georgia mountains, North Georgia mountains, near North Carolina, actually, and on a lake. So what was cool about being where I was is the boats had to be in by 6 p.m.
A curfew.
So, yeah, they had a curfew. So after 6 p.m., it was very quiet on the water, and there's a lot of inlets where we were. So
you mean like all the boats, not just the rental boats?
No, all the boats.
Really?
Yeah, they had a 6 p.m. everyone.
Wow.
So it got really quiet.
Okay.
Around 6, 7 p.m., and then I would go out. We had kayaks. So I would go out in a kayak and go into all these inlets. And these inlets, there may only be one house or no houses at all. And when you start paddling into these inlets, you get this real swamp vibe because the water's only maybe a foot deep.
Yeah, it gets kind of murky.
It's
and
real muddy
yeah.
and kind of spooky, to be honest, especially at dusk. I would go out, right after the boats were all gone, so I could go anywhere I wanted to and not be in fear of being run over by a pontoon boat.
God,
Some guy drinking White Claws.
Oh, geez. Those are dangerous.
So,
Idiots with pontoon boats that have no clue what they're doing.
and White Claws.
Yeah, and White Claws. They're not paying attention at all.
So anyway, I'm going through these kind of inlets, this real swampy area, and it just gave me some creepy vibes. And I started thinking about, man, what music would I listen to when I'm out here like this? And it just kind of gave me this kind of. You ever watch Super Friends when you were a kid? Do you remember Super Friends?
I do, but I don't remember if I watched them. I think I would watch maybe one episode and turn the channel if Bugs Bunny wasn't on, because I was really little when it came out the first time.
I was really into it, and when I was paddling, that was the first thing I thought about was the Super Friends, because the bad guys, if you remember, the Legion of Doom,
okay, I
would
remember
rise
it,
out
yeah.
of the swamp. It was like a headquarters. It looked like a big skull, and it would rise. So that's
and now that I've built stuff like that, I was like, that must be hellacious to maintain. The hydraulics that
How do they even do it?
I mean,
all that swamp mud.
Keeping the swamp mud out of the hydraulics, it's just, there's no way that could have worked.
That was the vibe I was getting. It was like real Legion of Doom. I was waiting for some bad guys to rise out of the water.
So I was thinking you might have gone the other way with like a Loch Ness.
Well, we could go there too. We had a real monster swampy vibe. Swamp Thing. You ever watch Swamp Thing?
No.
Back in the day, it was a great movie. It was really bad, but it was great. Anyway, that's the vibe I'm getting. So I'm thinking, what would I listen to, if I'm out here? And it's
some grungy, dirty music.
Exactly. I was thinking bluesy, because I'm thinking like Bayou.
There can be some pretty nasty blues. There's nasty funk and there's some nasty blues.
So that's kind of where we're going. It gave me the inspiration for a playlist. So at first I was thinking I was putting together my own genre of music. I thought I was creating something, and then I looked it up and I didn't create it. So today we're going to dive into some bluesy, dirgy songs that go with the scene that I was in, and I was going to call it swamp rock. Well, that's actually a thing. So there actually is swamp rock. It kind of came to be around the 60s out of the 50s rhythm and blues. It was kind of a sound that was adopted in the Bayou in Louisiana and Texas. And, you could even say like Creedence Clearwater Revival would be considered kind of swamp.
That's an excellent example.
Swamp music.
It makes you feel kind of sweaty. There's mosquitoes.
Yeah, it's just kind of dirty blues.
Yeah.
We're obviously going to focus on the more rocking, more guitar-based, swampy stuff, but we're going to go to the Bayou today a little bit and get swampy. So this is episode 87, Swamp Things, bluesy, dirgy, rock, and punk, and metal, because it actually stretches into each of those genres.
I want to hear swamp punk.
Oh, you're getting ready to hear it.
All right.
So let's just jump into it. Obviously, I thought I created something, but I haven't. I was even listening.
It's all been done.
It's all been done.
It's all been done.
I was even listening to Growing Up Rock today, and they were doing an Aerosmith episode, and Stephen Michael kept calling some of the 80s bluesy Aerosmith numbers swamp music, and I'm like, damn it. Even Stephen Michael's saying it. So anyway, we're going to start with a band from Atlanta, a band that I saw open for the Black Crowes in 1993 on their High as the Moon tour. I was in South Carolina. I was in college, and I went to see, that was the second album for the Crowes. It was the Southern Harmony and Musical Companion.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was that tour. They called it High as the Moon. And this
Which
band...
Which
they were. They had a big pot flag in the back just to let you know that's what they were into.
You knew. And you heard the story.
Like a 40-foot pot leaf.
They're behind the music when they were arguing that Rich Robinson would argue with his brother. They're like, don't give him any weed or you'll be fired. And the other guy's like, no, you're fired if you don't give me weed.
Well, they had this band. I didn't know anything about them. They were called the Urban Shakedancers, and they're from Atlanta, Georgia.
I remember that name.
And I liked them so much, I bought a shirt, man. I thought they were great.
Well, that's probably why I remember the name.
Yeah, probably. I used to wear that shirt all the time. They were real bluesy, very energetic, a lot of fun. The front man was amazing. And sure enough, they're Southern-bred blues rock, and the leader of that group, the front man, the guitarist, singer, Robert Page, he's been lauded as one of the best front persons of any band ever. I mean, he's just known for being amazing on stage. And they were really around in the 90s. They were in the Atlanta scene. They actually toured again with the Crowes on their 96 tour. And then I guess things kind of got away from them. Maybe they did their thing for a while, and then they split up. But in 2017, they, as all these bands do, they reunited, and I think they're still playing some local gigs. I don't know if they're touring, but they're still out there. But in 1995, I found their full-length album. I think they had some releases before then, but I found it in 1995 on, I think it was Grey Dot Records, which was a local independent. And I'm going to play from that album, which is called Let Her Dig. This is Nervous Wreck, and I think it'll get you in the mindset of what I'm trying to go for today. So check it out.
getting what they got. It's hard to win and it's a big old world. Make your head spin and send you for a twirl. So when you're dizzy, make you choose what's right. And if it don't come natural, you might lose your sight. You know it could have been a little, and yes I know it takes a lot. But when you're taking what they're giving, you know you're getting what they got.
Sounds like home.
Swampy.
Yeah. You didn't mention Florida, but obviously Florida has its fair share of swamps.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's kind of...
the Everglades.
Grew up near the beach, walking distance to the beach, but still, it was more known for swamps. You didn't spend too much time on the beach because there's tourists, and it was hot. But still, yeah, growing up surrounded by swampland and living in what was formerly swampland before it was filled in, that's definitely a vibe. Once again, there's some mosquitoes, it's hot, it's humid.
Yeah.
Definitely need a Bud Light.
And some
Keep things
bluesy
cool.
and some slide guitar. It just all goes together.
Yeah, it goes really well. All this pop country crap that claims to be, just the list songs where they just list stuff. There's no creativity to it anymore. So they pretend that they are capturing the flavor of the South, and it's a bunch of crap.
The scene. Yeah,
God.
I would consider the urban Shakedancers, that's true Southern rock right there.
It really is.
It's rocking, it's dirty, it's bluesy. and it's just got attitude, and that's what they were. And great band. I hope they're still going to put on some shows here locally so we can go see them. But that was a great band. Now, it doesn't take a band. Swamp music doesn't have to be made by a band from the United States. There are bands who kind of take this sound who are from Europe, say. And we're going to talk about one. This is a band from Germany that was formed in 2010. So this is not an old blues group. This is a newer group.
Are there swamps in Germany?
I'm sure there are.
I picture bogs and
there
marshes.
are now. I've seen some floods. So
what am I saying?
There's some swamps right now.
Duh, current events.
Yeah, current
Not
events.
paying attention to that.
But yeah, so you don't have to be American to make swampy music, and this band fits the bill. They're very heavily influenced by rock and blues from the 70s, and that's the vibe I got. And I discovered them. This is one of those Amazon discoveries for me. They were doing a cover of a ZZ Top song, and it's spot on great. And so I love this guy's voice as well as his guitar playing, but this is in the metal category. I would say Urban Shakedancers is definitely a rock band. This is a metal band kind of doing this really heavy blues thing, and the band is called Zodiac, and they put out 4 amazing studio albums and a live album. I own them all. They're amazing. They're great. They stopped playing in 2016 for some reason. They reunited in 2019. I got very excited, and then I just read in May of this year, 2021, that they have quit again.
And we're done.
And we're done. So COVID got the best of them, I guess, but at least we have 4 albums and a live album, and I'm going to play from their second album called A Hiding Place. This is Downtown. Enjoy some Zodiac.
Your winter state, captive soul ain't playing games. One lie won't crush your mind. Bright lights are shining, big city diamonds. Where are you now? Bright lights are shining, big city diamonds. Can you feel it now? We're going downtown where nobody knows your name. We're going downtown where nobody knows your name. Hookers and hustlers don't seem to care about your simple life. It ain't fair. You ain't coming home tonight. So long to your 9 to 5. Keep on walking. Make up your mind. Make up your mind. Bright lights are shining, big city diamonds. Where are you now? Bright lights are shining, big city diamonds. Can you feel
That's a great combination of heavy but laid back.
Yeah.
It's hard to be laid back and heavy at the same time.
We talked about it a little bit last week, right, when we were doing our acid rock episode about how a lot of new bands don't appreciate space and kind of laying it low a little bit and not always filling in every bit of frequency with and these guys, they do it, or they did it, I guess.
They had some of the a little bit of Thin Lizzy guitar harmonies where it wasn't
little almond-esque.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, actually more probably that a little bit. It was just real laid back, but nice harmonies on that. But it was still grooving and heavy enough where you said it was metal. Now, I don't know if I would have said that, but once you said it...
It's where they get lumped.
Yeah, it gets lumped in. But once you said it, I'm like, okay, there's elements of that I could see if you had to say what type of blues rock was that.
Right.
Then
well, just the
metal.
Amount of distortion and the level of the guitar was metal.
And maybe that brought some of that heaviness to it. It was just the tone, the level of distortion. Yeah, I like that.
And you're going to find that today is about guitar players. We're going to hear some amazing guitar players today. Blues, to me, is a guitar genre.
Yeah.
It takes a badass.
I mean, there are some harmonica players that play some, but there's still going to be a guitar behind it.
I'm all for that, too, but... It's all about the guitar for me with blues.
I agree.
I think the only thing I didn't mention with this band is that I did feature them on a previous episode, and it was the worst episode ever, episode 9, Shallow Grave, so nobody heard it. But I did feature Zodiac on our...
Why was it bad?
That was the one where I was shivering on the porch. On the deck outside, and did it by myself.
On the balcony.
I was talking real low.
Because you don't want to wake anybody up.
Because I didn't want to wake anybody up. But I did play some Zodiac. So for the 2 people that heard that episode, you are getting a
now
treat.
Everybody's going back to listen to it now.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's not good. Don't do that. I may actually pull that one from the list. But I will say that Zodiac is so good that we may be doing something with them later on down the road.
With that.
So I think you would dig it. All right, let's talk about a band that a friend of mine from work, and you know her, Carmen Roberts. I don't know if
Yes, my neighbor. She's
Yep.
your friend and my neighbor.
My friend from work, who I've worked with for a long time. Back then, her name was Carmen Hausner, and she went to South by Southwest in 2003 and told me I had never been at that point in time, and she told me how great South by Southwest was, and there's all these great bands. I'm like, awesome. And she said, I brought this band back that we went to something where Robert Plant spoke, and somebody asked him, who's the current band that you really are into? Mm-hmm. And Robert Plant's a picky man. He's not afraid to give his opinion about music and what things were going on in 2003. And she said, he said this band was amazing, and we saw them live, and they were great, and I picked up the CD, and I'm going to let you borrow it and burn it, right? So she gave me...
Burn it for those of you who are really
burning
young.
it. That's for before we had our iPads and our iPods, and before we were putting CDs into our computers and putting them into our devices, we actually would burn a CD, meaning we would go from CD to CD.
Yes, you copy it.
You would copy it.
Make a duplicate of that CD. So we're taking it outside and torching it. It was just there are people that probably have never burned a CD.
That's probably true. Yeah. You know me. I don't speak appropriately.
No.
So anyway, she gave me the CD, and I look at it, and the name of the band is but there's no E on it. It's just the legendary Shack Shakers. Okay. This is the second Shakers band that we've had on, and it's only song 3.
Yeah, because you got to just get up and shake your butt.
We're doing some shaking. So the name of the CD is Cock-A-Doodle-Don't, and again, this came out in 2003. So this is a band from Kentucky.
And the other thing I love about this genre, bands do not take themselves too seriously.
No, not at all.
They have fun, and they're not about their individual personalities as much as they're just the music.
So when I actually looked up this band, and they have their own write-up for what they play, here's what it read. Band from Kentucky that plays blues mixed with carnival music, swamp rock, and Southern Gothic. Sounds like a perfect band to me.
Southern Gothic.
Southern Gothic. So Southern Gothic is a literature. So I think that's more of their lyrical content is Southern Gothic.
Okay.
But yeah, so put it in. It's kind of crazy. This band gained some notoriety when Geico used a track in like a year-long ad that they had. And then Stephen King, he put the same track on as his top 5 for 2008. I don't know why people were paying attention to what Stephen King's listening to, but apparently they were. And then also it was used in this is perfect, it was used in the HBO vampire show called True Blood, which is a show based in the Deep South, swamplands, I think New Orleans.
I would know.
Yeah, I never watched it, but I know a little bit about it because I have HBO. Like I said,
I pay for HBO. I just realized, I just saw that yesterday on my charge. I'm like, wait a minute, if I pay for HBO, how long have I been doing that? I don't watch anything.
So this is one of their earlier albums. They have 9 albums out from 98 to 17, so there's a lot of content here. We're going to play something again from 2003. This is called Hunkerdown.
So that I can see a hunker down people right here next to me. Then you pull yourself along by the end of your fingertips. Yeah, you hunker down people and you're buzzing when your backbone slips. Well, a hunker down's a thing and what's so easy to do. Fall flat down on the floor without no what did you do? Now go down on the floor to the ground. Soldier boy down the line. Yeah, hunker down people. Yeah, hunker down people. Don't you hunker down people. Hunker down people. You gotta hunker down people like a soldier boy down the line. Well, so easy to do. Fall flat down on the floor without no what did you do? Now put the line on the floor until the ground is scratching memory inside. Yeah, you go hunker down people like a soldier boy down the line. Well, alright.
One of the fascinating things about that song is that it could have been recorded anywhere from 1956 up until today, and you wouldn't know the difference, which is awesome. That it's timeless. It really is that they stick to kind of a vibe, a theme, and so it could fit in with rockabilly, just old school rock and roll back in the early days. But what makes it swampy is just that tempo. There's a certain tempo. It's not too fast, not too slow. It's just gritty.
That's what I was going to say. It's gritty. It's kind of dirty sounding.
Yeah, a little dirty, a little gritty. But yeah, there's so many different facets of swamp rock. Once again, we've had the ZZ Top side of the hard rock bluesy side to it, and this is more of that rockabilly or just early days of rock and roll.
Totally. And they remind me a little bit, if you're aware of a punk band from the 80s called the Cramps. They sound a little bit like the Cramps, which is, again, that kind of rockabilly feel to it, but putting a little bit more grit and dirt into it. Cool band. And while we're on that subject of punk rock, let's go into a punk rock blueser. And this is a solo album from somebody that we featured in an episode that we had. Episode 7, we did TSOL, The Resurrection of Joe Wood. And go back to that episode to hear all about Joe Wood's time in TSOL. He wasn't the original singer, he was the second singer, so when they were doing their gothy metal version of TSOL, he was the guy. And we're going to play a solo album for Joe Wood. After he left TSOL, he kind of went back to his roots, which was the blues. And he, of course, took a little bit of what he did with TSOL with him, so he's got this kind of punk edge to his blues. And we're going to play from his first solo album called The Lonely Ones. And he's only released 2 albums. He had one in 2004 and one in 2006. He's still still plays from time to time in Southern California, but from what I understand, he hurt his hand at one point and had to wait. And then I also think
was it pulling up an anchor?
Probably doing an anchor.
Yeah.
It's probably it.
It's
common.
Yeah, it's very common according to the insurance industry.
Yeah. Yes. And the other thing he's done is, I believe he's gone to South America and done like Joe Wood's TSOL, maybe to make some scratch every once in a while.
Really?
Yeah. So I think he plays his era as TSOL without anybody from TSOL being involved, but he doesn't do it here in the States.
100% profit.
Hey, man, do what you got to do. But anyway, we're going to hear from The Lonely Ones, Joe Wood and The Lonely Ones. This is from 2004. Check it out. This is One Way Street.
I don't want to be an old man living in a trailer park home. I'm not gonna save my pension. You can spend it when I'm dead and gone. I live it all the day, smoking another cigarette. I blow it through the hole that's growing in my neck. Time is one thing that you seem to forget. All the money you can save will buy a minute. Baby, you don't give a damn. And I can't even feel the pain. But I'm tired living on a one-way street. Yeah, I don't want to be around here. I don't want to know if you care. I just want a place with a view. Hell, a box on the beach you would do. I'm driving down your highway, closing my eyes. 90 miles an hour is the way I'm gonna drive. You tell me that the sky is blue, I say it's purple. I like to watch the squares run around in a circle. Baby, you don't give a damn. And I can't even feel the pain no more. I'm tired living on your one-way street. Oh, there's no more crying, no more lying at your feet, little girl. I'm tired living on your one-way street. No more. I shut out the lights, lock all the doors. Say you won't listen to me, but checks in the mail, baby, make me pay. Driving down your highway, closing my eyes. 90 miles an hour is the way I'm gonna drive. Tell me that the sky is blue, I say it's purple. I like to watch the squares run around in a circle. Baby, you don't give a damn. And I can't even feel the pain no more. I'm tired living on a one-way street. Oh,
Well, first of all, I'm impressed that he was able to rhyme something with purple.
That is impressive.
Not the easiest word. I think circle is the only thing to come up with. Once again, that tempo is just right in that wheelhouse for me. That a lot of really grooving songs to me just have that mid tempo. It's not too fast, not too slow. So the verse of that, "Riders on the Storm,"
very much so, and that's always what people have said, that his voice really reminds people of Jim Morrison. But
yeah, okay.
Something about I love his voice. I think he has one of the greatest voices in punk rock and rock and roll ever. I just, you know how much I love TSOL, but especially his period. But, you know, I don't think he sounds exactly like Jim Morrison. I get that.
No. I was thinking more of the music. I mean, he definitely sounded in that ballpark, but just the light keys or light guitars with a doom, doom, doom.
Yeah, but he does have that baritone going with that music.
Oh, yeah.
But it has a real creepy vibe.
Raspy.
It's like a creepy, swampy.
Once
I don't
again,
know.
A swamp. If you've ever spent time at night in a swamp, there are all kinds of weird noises. I mean, my God, everything's trying to kill you. And there are mosquitoes or air-cooled Volkswagen engine-size mosquitoes down there. So
the humidity's unreal.
Oh, it's just dripping off of you. So I think one of the best commercials was that Tabasco commercial where this redneck, overall sweaty dude was putting Tabasco sauce on a piece of pizza and eating it, and then the mosquito bit him and then flew away and exploded.
Explodes
in a ball of flames. I'm like, that's exactly what it was, though. So my situation, we lived just closer to the coast than the swamp, so we had a good breeze, so it wasn't as bad, but just 2 miles from our house, you would get into the swamp areas where there's trees all around. You wouldn't have that ocean Gulf breeze. Right. It's god-awful miserable. I mean, you just sit there and just stew in your own sweat.
And in those types of areas, the tide does play a little bit of rises and falls, but not anywhere near the actual shore. So everything's kind of stagnant in a way. Like it doesn't really filter the same way.
Like I said, the bayous where it comes in, the bays that have inlets, bayous, anything like that. There's not a lot of running water. I mean, rainwater might run into it, but it's not like a river that runs into a lake that's always washing through it. No, there were places by our house that we would walk way past the water to go to these other places to go swimming because that was just there's gators. Absolutely, there were alligators. You would see them.
Yeah.
They would sun themselves out on the boat dock. So anyway, that whole vibe resonates with me. But I think coming back to the tempo of these songs, that there's something that it's just hanging out on a front porch, trying not to move too much because it's so damn hot.
Right. With a fan, maybe.
Yeah, fan. You might have something fanning. Yeah.
I remember my grandmother sitting because back in the day, they didn't have AC, and they used to sit on the front porch and with the Sunday paper, and they would fan themselves with the Sunday paper.
And it kept some of the flies away. But you would sit outside until the indoors would cool off enough where you go to bed. And that's basically what the life was down there. You eat dinner and then go sit on the porch and just wait.
Well, we're going to turn a little bit to something a little more up-tempo because one thing we haven't mentioned is in the bayou in Louisiana and parts of Texas, there's something called Zydeco. And that's kind of your...
You can't sit still with that.
And that's kind of like if you think about, or if you've ever seen any movies featuring the city of New Orleans, and they always like to show the festivals and all those types of things going on in New Orleans, you think about that big band music and real energetic dance music. Well, that kind of bleeds into their blues as well. So you have something called Zydeco blues, and it's kind of that Creole flavor to music. And we're going to feature a bayou musician from Houma, Louisiana, and I know it's Houma because I worked with a man named Kenneth Fauquier. Maybe he's listening, maybe
Kenneth!
Not. But he is from Houma as well. And
I remember Kenneth.
My parents brought this CD to me in the early 90s. They went to New Orleans, and they obviously know that I was really into music. And they came back and said, we met this guy, and he was talking about music. And we said, our son loves, rock music and metal and stuff. And this guy told them, I'm going to tell you about a guy who's going to be the next Hendrix. And he's from here in Louisiana. His name is Tab Benoit.
Tab Benoit.
And he's from Houma, Louisiana. And so they bought the CD. They brought it back to me. I thought it was kind of special because they never did stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was not in their wheelhouse at all. But it was kind of cool. And I put it on, and it is kind of Zydeco blues, energetic. But this guy, Tab Benoit, dude, just listen to this. I mean, he's an amazing... He has a style similar to Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I think you'll get that right away. And he's even recorded with the Double Trouble rhythm section on some albums.
Nice.
So this guy's legit. And if you're into the blues, you already know who this guy is. He's fairly popular. He's a ringer. He's one of those guys that plays with every famous blues person you've ever heard of that's still alive. And he's won a bunch of blues awards. He's been nominated for a Grammy. And he's a true swamp guy. In 2003, he formed a cause called Voice of the Wetlands. So he's all about preserving the bayou and that whole wetland area where he's from. So he's very much into wetlands preservation and all of that. So he's legit. 18 albums from 93 to 2012. And the song I'm going to play is from one of his earlier albums, like I said, from 1994. And it happens to feature some ringers playing with him. It has Kenny Arnoff on the drums. And if you don't know who that is, he played with every major pop rock artist in the 80s. I believe he was with Mellencamp and all sorts of groups. But if there's a pop album that came out in the 80s, Kenny Arnoff probably played on it. But he plays on this one as well. And the drums are amazing. And it's upbeat and a little bit different than what we've been doing, but still fits in with our swamp theme. So here's Tab Benoit. This is Time and Time Again from What I Live For, 1994.
I tried to get close to you, time and time again. I went to love me like your lover, but you love me like your friend. Now I'm not trying to push myself where I don't belong, but you're leading me on this way, little girl, that's wrong.
Definitely blues rock. I don't hear quite as much of the Zydeco in that particular song, but I know he's got other musicians. Yeah, you can throw in some of the washboard you're playing with spoons or something like that.
Yeah, get some horns.
Yeah, a little bit of horns.
Yeah.
But it was just good up-tempo, just fun blues rock. That's from 94?
94, yeah.
Wow.
And very similar. If you're into Stevie Ray Vaughan, you should check this guy out because
the sound was very similar.
Yeah. I mean, why did Stevie get played on the radio, on pop radio, and this guy didn't? I don't know, but who knows how
I mean, he
works.
was playing with Bowie and some other people. Maybe
that's probably what it was.
That helped. And he was definitely had some rock-oriented stuff that was able to be played on rock radio versus just blues rock.
Yeah, very similar style, though. That makes sense because they're from the same area,
Yeah.
essentially. All right, let's move back into the heavy. And this is a band that I have discovered very, very recently. In fact, I just got this CD. I got a CD. I haven't bought a CD in forever, but I got the CD
I've got
last
nothing
week.
to play it on. I've got, well, actually, my one of my cars has a CD player that still works. So
You just never take them out.
yeah, they're stuck in there. So for full disclosure, I had your former band, The Swear. That CD was in my car for 10 years.
Nice.
Until the CD player stopped working.
Oh,
but
bummer.
it was in there for 10 years, I think.
So you know every song by heart.
Yeah, I could sing. So if
Every
Elizabeth
beat.
needs me to fill in for her one day,
Well, I'll let her know. Okay, so this band I discovered and just got last week. And the reason I discovered them is for a future episode. I was doing a little research on Thin Lizzy.
nice.
And I was doing a little research on Robbo from Thin Lizzy, who was Brian Robertson, who was probably the best guitarist that they've had, in my opinion. They had a lot of good guitarists, but he was the one on those albums that when people think of Thin Lizzy, he's the guy that's on those albums.
Because Snowy White didn't come until later on, right?
Snowy White was later. You had Gary Moore. You had
Gary
John
Moore.
Sykes.
I always forget about
mean,
Gary Moore, that he was in there
Yeah,
too.
I think Eric Bell was the first guitarist. So they had a lot of guitarists. But anyway, this group that I found as I was researching Brian Robertson, I saw this group on there called Lotus. I thought, oh, he was in another band, and it was more recent. It was from 2000. And then I find out, oh, no, he just produced them. So I thought, well, it must be pretty good. And I just went on Discogs just for the hell of it to see if there was any Lotus out there, because it didn't show up on Amazon or anything like that. And sure enough, I found it on Discogs, and I ordered it, and it came all the way from Russia. A CD from Russia, and it wasn't very expensive.
With love.
But this is European bluesy metal. They have 5 releases from 97 to 01. Robertson did their album in 2000, and it's like in this wheelhouse of this kind of swampy metal bluesy stuff. And I don't really know anything else about them because I can't find anything. There's a whole bunch of bands that have been called Lotus. So try to search this Lotus, and it's really hard.
John Stringer's band, Lotus?
I think that was Jade.
Jade, that's right.
Yeah, a little bit different. But there is a Japanese band, obviously, called Lotus, which makes sense. But there's a whole bunch of Lotuses out there. So we're going to play this version of Lotus, who is from somewhere in Europe. Their names look very Swedish, Finnish, Denmark. I don't know. I don't know where they're from. Denmarkian? I don't know.
Yes.
Is that?
I think so. You nailed it.
Maybe.
We're going to go with that.
We're going to go with that. So this is the song Eyeball from Quartet Conspiracy 2000. Lotus.
That been frozen for a while.
from the swamps of Denmark.
God, that's swampy.
Good, right?
I don't think I've ever heard anything that heavy with a slide guitar in it.
Not all the way through like that.
No, I mean, even Pink Floyd had a couple of heavy rocking songs that had the slide. That was heavy with mid tempo, but
Right.
the bass and the guitar really tight through that, but had so much extra room, as we just discussed, at the top of that for that slide guitar to just hang out in the clouds right above that, just all the way through that. Just gave it the eerie, heavy vibe.
Yeah, slide guitar to me gives it that gothy, not goth, I guess that's right, creepy vibe.
There's something creepy. I don't know, can't describe it right now at this moment, but yeah, that with that heaviness, yeah, that was swampy.
Cool, man. Yeah, I just got it last week, so I'm just diving into this now. It's
Let's talk
super
about this
cool.
one some more.
All right, so now we're going to move on. The next song is a guy from Austin, Texas, that if you pay attention to...
It's pretty dry there. Do they have swamps in Austin, Texas?
Man, they do.
Do they?
Yeah, they have water running through Austin.
Well, there's a river, but I'm like, swamp.
Well, I guess, yeah, maybe not
muddy.
swamp, but it gets really humid there. Let me tell you,
Okay.
I've been
Okay,
there
well, that's
several times.
close enough then.
It is
All right.
humid in Austin, Texas.
Can't be a dry heat and talk about swamp.
No,
music.
it gets very humid.
Okay.
We're still in Texas, man.
Okay, well,
So,
yeah, but that West Texas.
yeah, but
it
it
gets
gets muddy.
kind of arid.
It gets muddy.
That
So,
qualifies.
all right.
That works.
But this guitarist, if you pay attention to pop music, you're going to know who this is. This is probably the most not obscure person.
Unobscure.
Let me get the right words. What is it? Not obscure person we've ever had. And I'm talking about Gary Clark Jr.
Oh, yeah.
So if you know anything about this guy, he's shared the stage with Clapton, Tom Petty, B.B. King, Stones. He's been nominated and awarded Grammys for R&B. He's won a Grammy for Best Rock Song last year. Did you know this?
No.
I found this out. He won the Grammy for Best Rock Song and Best Rock Performance last year.
Well, last year was kind of screwed up.
Well, I mean, the 2020 Grammys were given in February, right? So it would have really been for
Right, yeah, right. It was right before
right before
hit.
it, but
True.
But
then news of
that
everything
seems like
else
an odd
hit.
category for him to
Yeah.
win in, but that's cool
I'll
because
take it.
he's a
He
crossover
rips.
artist. He's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
crossover artist. He plays a brilliant guitar. He blends blues and rock. So he takes that Texas background of his, blends all that stuff with soul music and even a little bit of hip hop. So he's relevant on many levels with people. So again, not obscure, but he's not on every rock fan's radar. And I think for this podcast, he's probably not on everyone's radar who listens to this. So
No,
maybe I
he's
can introduce
on
you to
the
something.
edge.
Yeah, he's
On the edge of
just on the
obscuria.
cusp. You
Yeah.
may have heard of him, but you
Cusp,
didn't know that you might actually like it.
We need to make him unobscure.
He's now in Obscuria.
Yeah.
So this is Gary Clark. This is from his 2010 EP called Gary Clark Jr. This is Don't Owe You a Thang.
Well, ain't got no money, no fancy car, ain't got no excuses, babe. thing. Oh, we ain't getting married. I ain't buying you no diamond ring. That's alright. Ain't got no money, ain't got no car, ain't got no excuses, babe. I'm drinking at the bar. I don't know you a thing, mama. I don't know you a thing. I don't know you a thing, baby. I don't know you a thing. Cause we ain't getting married. I ain't buying you no diamond ring. That's alright. But we ain't getting married. I ain't buying you no diamond ring. That's alright. Well, we ain't getting married. I ain't buying you no diamond ring.
That'll take the paint off the walls.
Guy's good.
He had a hit. I'm totally blanking on it now. Just maybe it was a year or so ago that was played on like one of the XM channels, XMU or something like that. It was one of the,
Was it This Land? That's the one he won the Grammy for.
It might have been. And I, like I said, just drawing a blank right now. I've had beer, so it happens.
Yeah.
But I remember, God, I love guitar solos. It just, most of the new stuff we listen to, even if it's rocking, they still skip the most important part, which is
right. Or they don't separate it enough so that it breathes and that it has character.
It's just over here in the corner.
Yeah.
Don't.
I mean, that had
pay no
personality.
attention. Yeah.
There was personality all over that.
I get your booty shaking.
Yeah. And then he'll turn around and do something completely different on the next song. So it's pretty cool to go listen to him.
I hope he keeps growing as a musician.
Yeah. I mean, this is
putting stuff out there.
He's actually what we need in rock and roll because he's bridging everything together and getting people on board.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully influencing younger people.
Youngins, not us. We're no longer the target audience.
No, we're not anybody's target
Except
audience.
for AARP.
Except for the old hair metal festivals that come around. That's our target market.
Well, I think Vince, I just saw an article where he finally admitted that, his voice is shot. He was denying it, but he was denying it, huh? Oh, yeah. He's like, oh, no, it's fine. And people are, saying he just needs to practice or loosen up. No, he's done.
No.
And they're still advertising the big show here next year, Motley Crue, Def Leppard.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I don't know about that one.
So who's going to fill in for him?
John Corabi.
To bring him right back out?
Just bring him back.
He knows all the words, so.
He would kill it.
I wonder if they will.
Oh, that would be cool.
You know what they need? Vince Neil just stand out there and hype the crowd.
Exactly.
And hold the microphone to the crowd and let Corabi sing.
Let Vince Neil take his proper place as Flavor Flav.
Absolutely. Give him a little clock.
Give him a big clock.
Big clock hang on his... Hell yeah. Just admit it, man. You were out there to get the crowd
He's
screaming.
like the dancer in Mighty Mighty Bosstones. That's who Vince Neil is now.
Get women to lift up their shirts. I mean, he's good at that.
Exactly.
And, show off all that good
He's
stuff.
the hype man. He's the rally guy.
Get him out there. Put him on the little walkway out front and then let Corabi kind of stand back and just
do
sing.
his thing. Because Corabi plays guitar, so... And you got something else to...
There's this animatronic robot that's actually Mick Mars, but it's not really him. He just stands there.
Yes, they just hang him.
Yeah, they kind of hang him.
Hang him like a side of meat.
Yeah, they can. I mean, I saw. I think Bono or Kiss do that. They kind of just string him out in the crowd.
That was Paul Stanley.
No, Bono did something. Where
Bono does it too.
He did something. Well, he wasn't.
Oh.
Yeah, it was different. But the same.
Well, I have one more song for you for this collection of swamp rock.
I have to go take a shower after this.
Yeah, it's getting hot in here, man. Funky. And this is a blues guitarist from New Jersey. They have swamps there. It gets humid in New Jersey.
Because that's where they bury the bodies.
Exactly.
From Sopranos. See, I learned something by watching TV 20 years ago.
It happens. Now, this guy relocated to L.A. in the 70s, okay? And he became a sideman for John Lee Hooker, Percy Mayfield, Big Mama Thornton, Joe Tex, and a whole bunch of other blues cats that are no longer alive. And then, between 1981 and 84, he was the lead guitarist in Canned Heat, which was a band from the 60s, right?
Yeah.
So he did that for a while, and in 1984, he then made the move to John Mayall's Blues Breakers,
yes,
which is another band from the 60s, but that was a band that, was kind of a mold band for all these guitarists. And so this guy's a ringer. If you know blues, current blues music, or if you've listened to blues music since the 80s, you'll know this guy. His name is Walter Trout, okay? And in 1989, he was doing John Mayall's Blues Breakers. He was in a bad place, and he had an encounter with Carlos Santana after one of their concerts, and Carlos basically convinced him, like, you need to get straight, or else
He's like musical Jesus.
Yeah, that's what Carlos does, man.
I was hanging out in these woods, and all of a sudden Carlos Santana comes over out of the fog
and just set me straight. So he goes out on his own in the 90s, and he's just put out a ton of killer solo albums. And lately, or I should say in the 20-teens, he had some health issues with his liver, and he got a transplant in 2014, and he's been going ever since he got that. He got kind of back on his feet. He had a #1 blues album in 2019. The guy just keeps going. He's been playing, like I said, since the 70s. This guy is amazing. If you like guitar, if you like blues guitar, if you like heavy rock blues guitar, this is your dude. If you don't know Walter Trout, you're going to know him now, and you're going to want to go back and buy any one of his over 35 albums that he's released throughout his career. So,
think you can name them all?
I doubt it. He's been on so many. He's one of these blues guys. He's played with everybody.
We had 3, 2.5, and I can't name mine.
I can't even name the songs. Elizabeth I was talking to her last week, and we were talking about getting together and doing some shows for the Swear, and we were like, hey, that song, you know that second one on that album that we did.
I would need somebody to teach me my own songs. Like, have somebody that's really good. Listen to the songs, and then go, here's how you did this. Because I can't remember a damn thing.
Yeah. Let's play a little Walter Trout. This is a long song, but it's well worth it. This is called Clouds on the Horizon from Full Circle, 2006.
So in the future, all I have to do, let me just get this straight. All I have to do is complain that there aren't enough leads in songs. Then you just throw out this. Bam!
That was a guitar-gasm.
That was start to freaking finish.
Okay,
It was
I don't know
amazing
if,
lead.
I don't know if you noticed there were 2 guitarists there, so I gave you a little bonus with this one I didn't tell you about.
Oh, who was the ghost guitarist?
This was dueling guitarist. That was not only Walter Trout, but Mr. Joe Bonamassa.
Oh.
So they were dueling on this album called Full Circle.
You know, Joe Bonamassa is one of those people. He's a child prodigy and amazing talent. He hasn't crossed that line for me into like gritty enough. It's more commercial.
Well, that's why his music's
palatable.
not featured here.
Yeah, but when you put them together
with Walter Trout,
I'm like, okay, so he steps up a little bit.
Well, I'm that way with Joe in general. Like his solo stuff, I'm just like, it's all right. But you put him with Walter Trout, or you put him as a guest with somebody else, and it works. Or the band that he was in that really should be still making music and should have been huge, Black Country Communion.
Yeah,
amazing band. I mean, you put him with just some amazing players, and we're going to talk about them a little more later.
So his nickname should have been Vanilla Extract, because by itself, but you put it in anything else. Oh, amazing. So white guy, Vanilla Extract. You're welcome.
Yeah. And I would not to be derogatory, but his solo stuff, Bonamassa I'm talking about, is kind of vanilla.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, it's all right. You got some amazing skills, way better than I am, for the record.
Oh, he's one of the best guitarists of all time.
Way better than I am, but still, it needs some flavor.
But yeah, you have to put him with
we talk about, Stevie Ray Vaughan. He had some flavor.
Oh, man.
He had lived the blues.
Yeah.
You
almost have to be a tortured soul.
He was a tortured soul.
You've got Walter Trout, who is a bona fide tortured soul. He's
been
just amazing. He's been through it. He's still going. But yeah, that's kind of that is the formula for the blues, really. You have to be tortured somewhat. And man, I don't know about you. I mean, this is way off from where we usually go with this podcast. But when I was out there in the swamps, this is what I was feeling.
Exactly where we need to go.
This is what I was feeling.
No, good feeling, good swampy ass, good time of the year. We're in the peak swampiness here. Not a lot of swamps around the firehouse here, but it's actually because of all the rain. Yeah,
it kind of is.
I had to give. Those other thing, jackass dog over here had to get 2 baths in the past 24 hours for chasing rabbits through the mud. So yeah, it is a little swampy here right now. So it's rained every single day for about 2 years now.
Yeah, like the rest of the country is.
Heat wave,
and we are getting literally getting rain every day.
What is this? If I want to live in Seattle, I'd move to Seattle. It's too far away. But yeah, this is good, timely swamp-ass music.
Well, so next week, we are actually heading, the time is short, as you heard our sponsor say.
Oh, is it next week?
Next week, we are heading to Rockin' Pod. So we may be taking some time off.
Yeah.
We may ask somebody to fill in for us. I don't know what's going to happen, but
we'll figure it out.
More than likely, we'll see you in a couple weeks.
I'll do the podcast by myself.
You know who you sound like? Did you ever watch Inspector Gadget? The bad guy in Inspector Gadget.
I'll get you next time, Gadget.
That's it.
I had not thought about that until you said that. I'm like, oh my God, that does.
I don't even know how you do that.
What is this catchphrase? I'll get you next. Oh.
I don't know. I don't even remember what his name was.
I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time.
Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil sends the beast with wrath, because he knows the time is short. Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is
Underwood Deviled Ham.
My mom makes great sandwiches. This one's deviled ham.
My mom always gives me meat sandwiches to keep me going. Like deviled ham.
It's all good ham and a pinch of spices. For good meat and good flavor, try the whole ham spread.